The spring I started my first garden. I hadn't had a garden in a long time and really hadn't had space for a garden. So I planted a row of pumpkins. The pumpkins took over, but I only need one jack-o'-lantern, maybe two. So what do you do with those extra pumpkins? We're going to show you. Well, the first step after you get the pumpkin out of your pumpkin patch is to cut it in half. Pumpkins are difficult to cut through because they're kind of thick. And sometimes I have to use a hammer to get the knife to come through. After you've cut the pumpkin in half, you scoop out the guts, which is mostly just, it's the stringy part that you don't want to eat, and a lot of seeds. Lots and lots of seeds. After you have the pumpkin hollowed out and you've taken the seeds and the pulp that's around the seeds out, you can kind of rinse it off a little bit. And then you put them on a baking sheet. You set your oven to 350 degrees and you roast them. The next step is to scoop stuff out. And it's really easy. The pumpkin it practically falls out of the skin. What a lovely sound. Slimy sound. It sounds awful. Slimy pumpkin. But one of the things that you probably don't have this, probably can put this into a food processor and it'll grind it up no problem. I'm not using a food processor, I'm using a blender. I'm using a decent blender, but at the same time, it puts a lot of work, a lot of strain on the motor. Alright, the next part is simply adding the pumpkin into your blender or food processor. Watch this. Then we add yield pumpkin in your crock pot. I prefer to use the smaller crock pots. This is about 2.5 quarts. With the pureed pumpkin, you add 2 cups of sugar to start, a tablespoon of cinnamon, a half tablespoon of cloves, and a half tablespoon of nutmeg, plus a little salt. Stir it all up. Make sure it's good and mixed. Okay. Then, with that done, you put the lid on it, slightly askew, turn it on low, and go do something else. Once, about 6 hours or so after in the crock pot, you've stopped in to stir it up. Maybe add a little sugar or extra cinnamon, depending on your taste. And once it's done, you let it cool, and you put it in jars. Suitable for a gift, take it to the office, or have some yourself.